LeBron James, the fourth title in his remarkable career.
It don't matter where it is. If you win a championship, it's one of the greatest feelings in the world.
Keep going. Keep going. We built different, dog. We built different.
LeBron, say it with your chest.
Everything obviously so different this year. But one consistent thing was a great play from LeBron James.
It never gets old being on this stage. That's what I work my tail off for. It will never get old to me. I just try to take full advantage of it while I can.
Yeah! Let's go! He's having one of the longest primes in sports history.
You know this is his 17th year, right? How can you keep improving?
The most wins in NBA playoff history, the most minutes, the most points, the most steals. That's the true sign of greatness. When you just say, oh, okay, he had a good game. When they just keep putting up these remarkable numbers night in and night out.
Swatted out of bounds by James.
Past the great John Stockton on the all-time playoff assist list.
And the vision of LeBron is spectacular.
It's been an unbelievable run, and there's still plenty left in the tank.
James, way downtown. LeBron James, long distance. 260th playoff game tonight. The most all time. That's over 3 full regular seasons. 55th NBA Finals game. Just staggering numbers.
Oh, my God! Oh, my God!
Thinking I had something to prove fuels me. No matter what I've done in my career up until this point, there's still a little rumblings of doubt. Has he done this? Has he done that? Comparing me to, the history of the game, saying to myself, why not still have something to prove?
LeBron James caps off his 17th year with a triple-double in an NBA championship clincher. 28 points, 14 rebounds, 10 assists, and banner number 17 will soon hang in the rafters.
It means a lot to represent this franchise. I told Jeannie when I came here that I'm going to put this franchise back in the position where it belongs.
This historic.
There's Kareem, and then there's a debate, in terms of Jordan and LeBron. And on any given night, who do you like? For me, I look at, the total body of work, what LeBron James is as a basketball player. And if I had to pick one over the other, right now I'm picking LeBron James over a Michael Jordan.
Woo! Them's just fighting words in some neighborhoods. So we heard Isaiah Thomas choose LeBron over Michael Jordan. Scottie, been saving this topic for you. I'm so glad I'm here. I've been very excited about this. Do you agree with Zeke?
I don't agree with nothing Zeke ever said. I don't even agree with nothing he ever did.
Whoa. Oh, hit him.
You know what? I find that comment there just hating. I've never seen this guy embrace or thank Michael Jordan for what he's done for the game, done for our league, done for all the kids out here in terms of basketball. Michael Jordan is the greatest player to ever put on shoes and play in our game. No doubt about it. I'm always asked about questions to compare him to LeBron. I try to make the best of it.
You try to make the best of it?
I've tried to make the best of it, but really the comparison shouldn't ever be made. They both play two different positions. The way LeBron James play, Michael Jordan was never asked to play that way because I took that away from him. I was the point forward. I was the facilitator. Michael Jordan is a scorer. He was a defender. He played the game as complete as LeBron James did when he needed to, but he was asked to score the basketball, and that's what he was great at. And there's no game that I would ever play in and pick LeBron James over Michael Jordan.
No game.
No game.
So now you're just being
Not if I'm trying to win. Not if I'm trying to win. I mean, I'm not going to give up my teammate who I won 6 championships with and go and start fishing in a pond thinking I'm going to catch a bigger and better fish.
I didn't mean to laugh while you were talking, but T-Mac had his Kermit the Frog behind you.
Hey, man, I'm just here for Scottie, man. I'm just here for Scottie.
I want to hear what T-Mac has to say.
No, I mean, I disagree with Zeke. I think Jordan is the greatest of all time in my book.
What makes him better as a basketball player? Not the rings argument. What makes him better as a basketball player, like Scottie just described? What makes him better to you?
For me, I think just completely just taking over games, when it really counts. Not deferring to anybody at any given time. yeah, there's times where he passed off to a John Paxson or, a Steve Kerr. Yeah, but when it's time to get a bucket, I mean, MJ was that dude to take over a game, averaging 40 in the finals one year, winning that championship. I mean, defending the best players.
Exactly.
I can't. He's just the greatest to me, man.
Does that Isaiah Thomas comment?
Doesn't take away from LeBron is awesome.
Yeah.
And best in our era that I've seen. He's the best. But the GOAT, that's
and I can praise LeBron in a different way because people like T-Mac, guys that can score, would love to play with a guy like LeBron.
Absolutely.
Because they want the ball as well. But when you play with a guy like Michael, who's a superior scorer, and I've played most of my career with him, and when you hear a guy come out the huddle and you see that he wants the ball and he's working for it night in and night out, you can't compare him to LeBron because he's not that guy. LeBron is not going to be the guy that say, I want this last shot.
Yeah,
Get me the ball.
It's going back to.
I hear that from Michael. I've heard that from him. Like, no matter what the situation is, get me the ball.
Yeah.
And basically, that tells me, get him the ball, or I'm calling timeout.
No, it's hard
shot.
for me to look back, in a few of those finals where LeBron just was a no-show. You look at the first championship run with Miami against in that Dallas series. I mean, it's hard for me to get over that, how he performed in that. Now, he's learned over the years of going back and being dominant, but to have those mishaps, I mean, MJ never had that in his championship.
Scottie, you were talking during the break, though, about the physicality of LeBron James, his size, and you were saying what now, that you couldn't defend him if you played today?
Well, this is why I think LeBron James' greatness come in, and this is where I put him up there as one of the greatest players because of his physical gift to the game. He sort of brought the Michael, the Kobe, the Magic, the Scottie. He has all our body size. He has our speed. He has our athleticism. And he's been able to do that and play the game the right way from a statistical standpoint, getting rebounds, making everybody on the floor better. And he's also a great scorer. So that makes him great within himself and a guy that we've never seen play the game the way that he can because he can dominate the game in a lot of areas as well.
Here's why. MJ is the GOAT in terms of basketball accomplishment, but the overall, when we talk about social issues, LeBron James is the GOAT in that, in that sense. He's the greatest to ever do it. Great on the basketball court, but also great in dealing with social and political issues and not being afraid to voice his opinion and being very articulate on those, where a lot of guys, shy away from, even coming out saying anything.
But people aren't using that as an argument for him over MJ. But you mentioned that you took sort of the ball handling away from him and some of the distributing. Do you think if you were not his teammate, if Michael Jordan had been not only the top scorer but the top distributor on his team, that he could have put up the same types of numbers? Obviously, he did have his share of triple-doubles as well.
He would have evolved a little bit more statistically like a LeBron James, but still, he would have been a better scorer than LeBron, I believe.
Last thing here, because I saw the fire in your eyes there, when you saw Isaiah Thomas mentioning that, does it reignite any sort of feud? Still some bad blood there? How does that?
It's going to be always bad blood there. That was something that he didn't allow to heal in time, and that time has now expired. So the bad blood will always be there.
It looks like it makes it personal in your mind when he makes opinions like these then?
Yeah, it does make it personal. And, I think even looking back at the video when that situation happened, it became personal then.
Man, that's great stuff, and I can't believe I'm here to talk to you about it.
He's played so many times, so regularly, it's basically become like a baseball player stepping into the batter's box. You never want to whip on a pitch, but if you do, there's always another one coming. That is until last season, when he and the Lakers never even made it up to the plate. Last season, when LeBron dealt with the most significant injury of his career, when he started to feel the first real wisps of aging. It's always interesting to watch truly great athletes go through this. I remember talking to Derek Jeter once about he was actually more nervous and grippy playing big games toward the beginning and end of his career than he was actually at the start of his career. That it was a whole different urgency once Father Time forced you to realize you're only going to get so many more innings. So it wasn't a surprise yesterday to hear that before Game 4 between the Lakers and the Heat, LeBron, well, he texted his team's group chat with 2 words: must win. And he went even further when he talked to the media.
I just felt that. I felt that vibe. I felt that pressure. I felt like for me personally, this was one of the biggest games of my career. And just wanted to relay that message to my teammates, what type of zone I was in, what type of moment it was.
One of the biggest games of my career? That's quite the sentence when you think about, well, LeBron's career. But it's easy to see why it felt that way. After Game 3, where Jimmy Butler had given injury-ravaged Miami more than a little bit of hope. Game 4 was set as the battle for the heart and soul of these NBA Finals. Bam Adebayo, coming back from his shoulder injury, only heightened things, as did Butler, who came out smoking in the first quarter, going 5 for 5. The Lakers, meanwhile, looked, well, a bit grippy and sloppy, too. LA had 9 first-half turnovers. LeBron himself had 5 of those. But LA got some nice contributions from their role players, including Cantavius Caldwell-Pope. KCP has not had the easiest go of it over the years from Lakers fans, who think the $38 million the team has paid him over the past 3 years has been excessive. But he has earned every penny over these finals. And Anthony Davis, who had a rough Game 3, well, he earned his money last night, too. His defense on Butler was stellar. After the first quarter, Jimmy was just 1 for 7 with AD checking him, although it was LeBron who met Jimmy at the rim and was on the other end of that dunk. Ooh. And as you can see there, it turns into a little bit of an Incredible Hulk moment. You know, the whole "don't make me angry, you wouldn't like it when I'm angry" line? Yeah. Watch LeBron's response here after slamming down that basketball. Dude splits the hedge, hits the shot off balance, and got the and one.
Yeah, look at that. Go ahead and flex on him, big fella. He's too big to be splitting. Like, you got to be able to close that gap on big fella. But yeah, sometimes, man, when you start to feel that pressure, you got to answer, and that was a huge answer.
Now, the Lakers never trailed after that. LeBron would finish the game with 28 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, and that must-win win. Now, the first, and we know that he tweeted early in the morning. Yeah. He didn't sleep after that, right? Because he was still more than 5 hours after the Lakers left the arena. Maybe it was just adrenaline. Maybe he was thinking about Game 5, which actually is a must-win, guys, for Miami. Yeah. But it sounds like it might also feel like it for LeBron James. He's 35 years old in a couple months. Even if he still might be in the longest prime in the history of professional sports, health is never guaranteed. Basic math says there are only so many more pitches coming. And if last night is any indication, he certainly has the ability to hit a few more out of the park. Richard, I'm having some problems with my IFB and my elements.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
It's not good right here on the technical front. What is your biggest takeaway from the Lakers win last night? Because you're sitting next to me, so I can hear you.
Well, the crazy thing is that, you know, I think I texted you. I was like, they look a little nervous, right? They look like there's like a lot of pressure, and when you don't want to make mistakes, but you end up making mistakes, and it mounts. You know, my takeaway from this is every series, and especially NBA Finals, there's a game that you have to win that you're not supposed to. Mm-hmm. We saw it with Anthony Davis hitting that big shot against Denver. Yep. We saw it last night where if someone would have told you with 2 minutes ago that the Miami Heat would have won that game, there would have been no surprise. So the Lakers won a game that literally was 50-50, and that gave them control of the series.
You know, really, I think it's LeBron's, his will. He's imposed his will in this series like none other. Like, I've watched LeBron throughout his whole career. And the fact now that you see in this series, like, he's not waiting for Anthony Davis to light up or to get going. He's using his will. He's not allowing Miami to make these runs, to gain the momentum. And that's the difference that I've seen in LeBron in these finals compared to what I've seen him in past. It's where he's given up the ball. He's went and stood in the corner. You see very little of LeBron taking off on plays in this NBA Finals.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have an option, right? That's what this team and the way this team especially made up on the offensive end, he doesn't have an opportunity to take a moment. Every single thing, and this is the first time, he hasn't been favored many times in all of these NBA finals.
Yes.
Combine that with this is his first time up 2-0. It's kind of like everything is there for the taking, the fourth championship, so there's a different experience for him, even a guy that's been in the finals 10 times.
Well, I think in this series he does have options. I think Anthony Davis is having a heck of a series. I think Kentavious Pope is having a heck of a series. I think all of his supporting cast are having a great series, but I think it's the fact that LeBron has led. He has not followed, and he's forced these players to follow. In past season, LeBron has stood back, and been more of a guy who's facilitated. He's used his will, and I think it's really because Jimmy Butler challenged him. He challenged his manhood, and he felt like that he had the upper hand on LeBron James. LeBron James is 17 years in this league, and he's still playing some of the best basketball that I've seen in any 17, 15, 14, 13-year-old vet that has played in this game.
Yeah.
He is playing like he...
I want to ask you about LeBron, because you went on Twitter and you called him, it's true, it's what he's already said. You went on Twitter and you called LeBron the MVP this season, and I want to know what you think gives him the edge over Giannis, besides, of course, the fact that you're the one who recruited him to the Lakers.
Well, no, because I think that he affects the game. LeBron affects the games in so many different ways. And this year, he's almost averaging a triple-double. And when you think about the way he's played defense, and then last but not least, the way he's been an incredible leader, he has really brought those guys together and kept them going. And LeBron himself also is on a mission, right? He wants to show people that he can go from Cleveland to the Lakers and win a championship, and especially with all the history that the Lakers have. So I think LeBron has played unbelievable this season and really took AD's game, Anthony Davis's game, to a whole nother level. So I'm really impressed with LeBron. Now, Giannis, no question, he's had an incredible season. It wouldn't surprise me if he was named the MVP, right? But LeBron James, in my mind, has definitely won the MVP, in my mind.
Mac, I know you got a different opinion.
I do. Just flip-flop that. I got to go with Giannis. I mean, I just think, you know, from the first game, this kid has been on a mission. He arguably can be the Defensive Player of the Year this year, so he's playing both ends. I can't take anything from what LeBron James is doing in his 17th career, which is incredible to put up the numbers. But we can't forget he's also playing with a first-team All-NBA in Anthony Davis. I mean, it's not like, you know, his situation where he was in Cleveland. He was playing with an All-Star and Kyrie and Kevin Love. This guy's playing with Anthony freaking Davis, one of the most talented guys in our league, and some great role players that they have. But I just got to go with Giannis, man. Just the things that he's doing on the basketball court in terms of his leadership, putting up big numbers. He's rebounding the ball. He's assisting the ball. And he's playing great defense. So, I mean, he's definitely made a strong case.
I think you guys are both right. I think we were both left startled with what both of these guys were doing this season from a team standpoint. Obviously, Giannis trying to get his team back to the Eastern Conference Finals, hopefully to play in the NBA Finals. But, you know, the work that LeBron has put out there over the years, what he's been able to do from team to team, and his longevity, that to me says a lot. Being a guy that played 17 years in this league and was hanging on my last leg at that time, pretty much, I take my hat off to say that I don't want to take nothing away from neither one of these guys. If the league is ever to split an MVP, this is their chance to step up, because both of these players are MVPs this season.
I agree to that.
It's unfortunate that we don't have a chance to really see them battle it out to the end.
Well, hopefully we can see him in the finals.
Speaking my language, Scottie. That's right. Maybe the NBA Finals will determine it.
Hold off on that
I got
trophy.
all three of you here. I have to ask, Scottie, I'm going to start with you. If I had Magic Johnson, Tracy McGrady, and Scottie Pippen on a court to play a game of horse, who wins?
I'm going to have to give it to T-Mac because he's going to be shooting those long half-court shots. And me and Magic, we wasn't adjusted to those long shots. Like, if we shot 2 or 3 three-pointers back in our career, like we almost had to look over there to the bench if we didn't make them. So I may have to give T-Mac the edge, but I'll be working all over.
But you got to understand,
stuff like that.
I do have the long range, but this is horse, so any shot counts. Now, Magic got that hook.
Right.
Magic has the sky hook. I don't have that in my game. So I could potentially get a letter or two from Magic with the hook. But I'm definitely going outside deep, where it's, you need a life jacket out there to hang with me.
And Rachel,
so I think we will both have to bow down to the great Magic.
Hey, Rachel, I just want to be the point guard with T-Mac on one wing and Scottie Pippen on another. That's all I want. Just, woo, can you imagine?
You know what?
Can you imagine?
Man. I would love.
No, Magic. I was able to live that dream in '92. I can't imagine.
I played with J. Kidd on the USA team, so I can only imagine how awesome that'd be.
Yes. Wow.
I love both of you guys, man, and thank you for what you've done for the game. T-Mac, Scott, Pippen, you and I on the dream team, brother. I love it. And then Rachel, thank you. Thank you for what you've been doing on the jump. It's been amazing. And Kendrick has been, Kendrick is a star now. You guys made Kendrick a star now.
Yay.
I know.
It's amazing. So tell him I missed him on the